Hello, Jon Sermon here again. Some of you have been watching what I'm posting, and you know that I'm a church leader in rural Suffolk and chair of churches together in the area, and also that I lead a charity, Romans 111 Trust, which fosters mutual encouragement between the UK and Africa, and in particular we partner with a number of churches, schools and training institutions in Uganda. And here we are in both countries, Britain and Uganda, with ongoing restrictions as a result of coronavirus and some genuine fears. And I want to continue offering such encouragement as I believe I can and should in these situations. Everyone will experience it differently from one another, and I've even come across people on the phone mostly, because that's how I do my pastoral work at the moment, people who are actually quite enjoying the restrictions of lockdown and finding it suits their circumstances, but many others who are frustrated by it and finding life difficult. Whatever our experience, this situation gives us a reason to reassess what are our priorities in life and where am I at in spiritual life. Now I want to tell you about a conversation Jesus had with a religious leader of his time called Nicodemus, and you'll find this in the Gospel of John chapter 3. Now Nicodemus was a teacher of the people and part of the ruling council. Of course, they weren't ruling as such because their nation was occupied by the Romans, who were really ruling. But they had a certain autonomy, delegated authority, if you like, and religious leadership and authority and political leadership and authority in first century Palestine were one and the same, because the society all tried to engage with God, and their leaders were leading them as a nation and also as a religious community. Those same religious leaders were the ones who arranged for Jesus to be crucified. But some of them saw in Jesus something so special that despite the fact that it would reflect badly on them in the eyes of some other leaders, they chose to be interested in him, to consult him, to follow him. And Nicodemus came to him secretly in the night to consult him. Now, amongst the things they discussed, Jesus said that you need to be born again. Now, that's an expression that's sometimes being used in ways that put people off. But what he actually meant was simply that just as we are physically born as physical beings, to really experience what it is to be spiritual beings, we need a spiritual birth as well. And that spiritual birth is what takes us into a personal relationship with our God and Creator through Jesus Christ. And trying to explain this to Nicodemus, Jesus said about God's plan for humanity, that God loved the world, by which is primarily the people in the world, but the whole of creation, but God loved the world so much that he gave his one and only Son, and the result is that anyone who believes in him would not perish, but have eternal life. He went on to say that he had come, God had sent his Son, not to condemn the world, but so that the world can be saved through him. Millions of people in every nation are experiencing this reality, that actually by deliberately, prayerfully, putting our trust in Jesus Christ, we are experiencing a spiritual new birth and knowing that our own failings, which we all have been dealt with, and that Jesus chose self-sacrifice to deal with our rebellion against our Creator and make it possible for a renewed relationship. Now, we will soon be arranging to study more of this in a group setting through online technology, through what's called the Alpha course. Many of you will have heard of Alpha. It's an introduction to Christianity. And anyone hoping to be part of that, you can get in touch. Meanwhile, I want to encourage you, however much you have or haven't already tried praying, you can do it in your own way, however suits you, gently. And if you want to look for more of Christianity, of worship on YouTube, on Facebook, you can find all sorts. But to use this time of restriction for reassessing, not only where we want to be as society. I've just come in from applauding at the doorstep, clapping for our carers, which we do on Thursdays at 8 o'clock, and there's a sense of community about it. And we do pray that this sense of community that's growing will continue when things are back to so-called normal. But also that, as well as reassessing how we want society to be and how we want to relate to each other, reassessing how we want to relate to our Creator. Because so many people seem to recognize there is a spiritual side of life, and God is inviting us to know it at a greater depth through Jesus Christ. God bless you.